Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. You guys know it's been a pretty up and down season for the Los Angeles Lakers this year. They started off the season 3-0, then they started losing some games, and they went on a 6-game winning streak, then they started losing some games. And now the Lakers are pretty much a middle of the pack team, right? Well, not really. I think they're the 8th seed right now in the Western Conference. Last time I checked, I actually just want to verify it now because they were kind of hovering between the 10th and the 8th seed as we currently speak. They're the 8th seed right now, exactly. So they're the 8th seed with a 13-11 record, and they just got a win against the Portland Trail Blazers with the absence of LeBron James. And actually, after that victory, some people out there saying, man, the Lakers look better without LeBron. The Lakers look better without LeBron. Now, I want to say this before we really get into the heart of today's show. The Lakers have a different playing style without LeBron, but I wouldn't base it so much off of that game to say, oh, you see, they're much better without LeBron, because the fact of the matter is the Portland Trail Blazers are not a good team, right? They had 8 wins coming into that game, and they left that game with 8 wins, and they have 14 losses, and the Lakers handed them their 14th loss. They're 2-8 out of their last 10 games, so they're not a good team anyway. I think we'd be able to say that if they played against a good team and they were able to get a victory, but I understand what people are saying, right? I get what people are saying. So this morning I was doing some research, all right, and I came across a pretty interesting article, which actually led to another article. So I may read 2 articles, but the first article, the source article, came from fadeawayworld.net, and it had an article that said with the following headline, LA Times columnist asks LeBron James and Anthony Davis to leave the Lakers. And I was like, what? I'm like, so who is this LA Times columnist? So as I started to read the article, I then saw that it was Bill Plaschke. Right now, you know Bill Plaschke. He makes regular appearances around the horn. He's been a writer for the LA Times for God knows how long. So he's a guy you see on ESPN, well respected, a voice in the sports world. So then I clicked on another link that linked to the actual article, which was on the LA Times website, and it had the following headline, which said, let me get the headline, and it says, column, sinking Lakers franchise must throw LeBron James and Anthony Davis overboard. Okay, so let's get into the fadeaway article first, since that's the first one. It continues on rather. Despite the 107-98 win over the Portland Trail Blazers, fans of the Los Angeles Lakers are not optimistic. So much so that Bill Plaschke, a columnist for the Los Angeles Times, penned a column asking LeBron James and Anthony Davis to ask them out of the team, as their mediocre roster is destined for another play-in appearance. He noted that this would be in their best interest and help the team build for the future. Dear LeBron, ask out. Dear AD, follow him. This is my Christmas wish for a franchise that has been, that has lost the town to the Dodgers, lost the season because of a lousy roster, and just lost by 41 points to Pat Riley. After a quarter of the season, the Lakers are no better than a bottom seed in the Western Conference, surely headed for a 3rd consecutive appearance in the play-in tournament, seemingly destined for 2nd consecutive first-round knockout. It's over already. There is no hope. Again, with no first-round draft pick and suffocating salaries, they might not be any better next year. Really, Plaschke added that despite the win over the Trailblazers, there is no reason for optimism in the city. He added that the 2 players deserve better, and the best way that they can help the team is by waiving their no-trade clauses and go to contending teams for another chance at an NBA championship. With the Lakers slide rolling into a December 15 landmark, that's the date when teams can first trade players such as James, who signed new contracts last summer. The timing is right for the most obvious truth. The best way 2 leading Lakers can help this team is to willingly leave it. If James relents on his no-trade clause and Lakers can send him to a contender for one last hurrah. If Davis gives his approval, the Lakers don't need it and could trade him today since he signed his contract in 2023, but they would want it because that's how they treat superstars. The Lakers could send him somewhere that can give him a chance to get another ring before his body breaks down for the last time. Clearly, the frustration started to set in amongst Laker fans after their terrible 3-game losing streak that was just broken on Sunday night. It appears as though the duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis is not enough to carry them to a championship this season. So that's what the Fadeaway article had to say. And of course, the LA Times article, I'll just read the first 2 or 3 paragraphs. It says, "Dear LeBron, ask out. Dear AD, follow him. This is my Christmas wish." And then it just goes on and on and on. So you guys can definitely check that out there. Anyway, what are my thoughts on what Bill Plaschke had to say there? Well, I agree with his conclusion, but for different reasons. Let's address Anthony Davis since he brought up AD. I don't understand why AD wants to play with the Lakers. I know Anthony Davis has a fantastic, a wonderful, beautiful estate that he has in LA. I saw it in a YouTube video of D'Angelo Russell or something like that, where he went to AD's house. It looks spectacular. So maybe he likes life in LA or whatever it is. There's that option. Maybe he likes being there every day. But from a winning standpoint, from a stress standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, I don't see why AD wants to be on the Lakers. And if you think of your running mate is 40 years old. Of all of the young horses that they have in the NBA, why would you want to hitch your wagon, no pun intended, to LeBron? LeBron is old. And the Lakers seem to be dysfunctional. They don't even know how to hire coaches properly. I just read an article this morning that Mitch sent to us. He was like an article pertaining to what Ty Lue and a conversation that Ty Lue and LeBron had to make, that they had. And it was around the time when the Lakers were trying to offer Ty Lue a contract. And essentially Ty Lue said to LeBron, after LeBron reached out to him 2 times, he said, they're going to have to respect me, which means that the offer that they offered him was disrespectful. At least that's how, in his eyes. So they can't even hire the right coaches. So why AD still wants to be playing with LeBron and on the Lakers, I don't even understand. In the case of LeBron has been playing for God knows how long. He's been playing for so long. We've been hearing rumors of him going to the Warriors, and I'll go to the Warriors. Because to me, I think for this organization to really bounce back, and trust me, it's going to go through a very, very difficult period when the dust settles. When LeBron retires and all of that kind of simmers down, it's going to be tough. So they might as well start the process now. I believe that that's what Bill Plaschke is saying. I don't think he's making fun of them. I just think that he's tired of seeing this situation, this stale situation. But hey, the Lakers seem to be committed to it. They drafted Bronny James. They seem to embrace the circus. They love the circus. And I don't expect it to change because the Lakers have not shown or indicated that they themselves want it to change. So yesterday, we went to war with Gilbert Arenas. We went to war with him about Kobe Bryant. And trust me, we got a show coming on later today, depending on the order in which you guys see this show, where Gilbert Arenas fired back at us. And we're going to do a response to it. So y'all want to stick around for that. But anyway, we did a show reacting to a segment that took place on Gil's Arena featuring Brandon Jennings, Nick Young, and Gilbert Arenas himself. And essentially what happened was Gil started off the segment. He threw the question out there. He said, ranking these 3 players, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, who's the best killer? Rank them from 1 to 3. And as soon as Gilbert Arenas said that, Brandon Jennings mouthed off, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Nick Young was about to say the similar thing, then Gilbert Arenas jumped in. And all hell broke loose from that point. We produced a show about it, and it got a lot of reaction to the point where we got to do a follow-up. Because when I woke up this morning, one of our followers, I believe his name is Khalid, if I got his name right, messaged me on IG, and he's like, yo, look at these stats right here. And I want you to point this out that Gil was capping about LeBron and Jordan about these numbers here. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, looks like he has a point. So I'm like, we got to talk about this today. But to give us some context, I want to play this specific part where we're talking about ranking, because there's a specific part where Gil talks about who got more kills more for faster or whatever, because really that's at the heart of today's show. So before we go too far, we want to play that sound for you, and then we're going to come back and get on, continue on with the show. Take a listen to what these guys had to say here.
Who is the better killer? Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. Put them in order.
Killer?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. There you go.
I would go.
I don't care.
How do you,
Go get it done.
Right?
Go get it done 6
I'll go
times.
Kobe.
Every
I
time I go.
They all still killers at the end of the day.
no,
I go
and
Kobe.
that's the problem
I go Kobe.
with the argument.
No,
right?
it don't matter. Somebody gotta win.
When they say this guy is a pit bull and this guy is a cat, but the cat has more kills, total kills at the fastest mark, has more accuracy at killing, but you're calling him like you can't. You gotta change how you use stuff.
Don't care about that.
Don't matter. You have, but you
not
Listen,
killing
at the end,
the
right.
dog.
We just want you to kill one part. We don't care about that little shit. We don't care about that little
after you have to change how you use stuff. Because if you're calling me softy, but I'm busting your ass, it says more about you now. If you're saying this guy's a killer and this guy's soft, but this guy has way more kills in a faster time, you can't use those. You gotta describe it a little bit different.
No, I don't.
So you heard what they had to say. So this viewer sent me this stat, and I started to go through it and compare the numbers and crunch the numbers. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. These stats are saying the total opposite. Okay, so let's get into the stats here. He sent me the numbers of when LeBron hit 10,000 points versus when Jordan hit 10,000 points. And according to the data, it took Jordan 303 games to hit the 10,000 point mark. It took LeBron 368 games to reach the 10,000 point mark. Now, he brought up LeBron getting to 10,000 points before Kobe, which of course is true. But I want to give you guys a larger picture. LeBron did get to 10,000 before Kobe. But if you look at how many games it took Kobe to get to 30,000 points, it took him 1,180. It took LeBron 1,107. So the numbers aren't that far apart. They're not that far apart, but what these numbers don't show you is the context. Because if you just look at these numbers, you would think that, man, LeBron he's just a better scorer than Kobe Bryant. Because after all, that's why Gil is bringing it up. He's saying who did it faster to kind of create a picture to say, well, this guy's doing it faster, so clearly he's better. But what he's not giving you is the full picture. Because looking at that, you would think, oh, LeBron is definitely a better scorer than Kobe. But he's not. He's not. One of the reasons it took Kobe a little longer, or rather, one of the reasons LeBron was able to catch Kobe, or do it faster rather, was because Kobe, for a certain stretch of his career, was playing with a guy that was averaging between 28 and 30 points per game. Between 28 and 30 points per game. That was one of the reasons. Shaq, for some of those years, was averaging between 28 and 30. One year he averaged, 29.7 points per game? So it's going to be really hard to rack up all of those points when you're playing alongside another bona fide scorer in Shaq. At no point in time has LeBron ever played with a team that can score at that level. It's only this year, in year 22, when AD is now, I think at one point was averaging 28 a game. So I think the context is important. Because if you just look at the stats and you don't put them in context, it will tell you a story that's not true. It could be misleading. So let's look at it from a larger standpoint. If Gil is saying LeBron did this faster than Kobe, it must mean that somehow he must be better at doing this thing than Kobe, which is scoring points. But let's look at it in terms of milestones. How many 40-point games would you think LeBron has in his career? How many 40 points? You know, the guy that's the greatest scorer of all time. The greatest scorer to ever touch the floor. How many 40-point games would you think he had? 200? 150? 100? What number would you think? LeBron has 77 games. 77 games where he scored 40 points. 77. Kobe, that LeBron is supposed to be better at scoring, otherwise why even bring up that number? He has 122. 122. And LeBron has played more years than Kobe. So let's figure this out. LeBron has played more years, but Kobe has more 40-point games. Okay, some of y'all are like, well, maybe it may just be 40-point games. Maybe LeBron has more 50-point games. LeBron in his career in 22 years has 14 50-point games. Kobe has 25. 25. Almost double the 50-point games. Let's look at 60-point games. Well, LeBron only has one career 60-point games. Kobe has 6, and I think he had 2 in 1 week. 2 in 1 week. Not to mention the fact that Kobe scored 40 for 9 straight games. I think then James Harden broke that record, if I'm not mistaken. But to bring it into context, because Gil was talking about who killed faster, who's killing faster, who blah, 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 kill faster. How many 40-point games do you think Jordan has? How many 40-point games do you think Michael Jordan has? Michael Jordan has 177. Jordan has more 40-point games than Stephen Curry and LeBron James combined. And he's still ahead of them by, 30? Steph and LeBron combined have 145. Jordan by himself has 145, has 177. So when Gil brought up that thing about, kills and Jordan got more steals than LeBron. He does. He has more steals than him. And if you talk about effectiveness, it's not even a conversation. Let me just give you guys this last piece of information here. LeBron has played for 22 seasons. Let me see something. Let me just verify this because I just want to be correct when I say it. I want to be sure how many times LeBron has made an all-defensive team. He's played for 22 years. Okay? In those 22 seasons, LeBron has made an all-defensive team. Let me see. 5 firsts. No. 5 firsts. 1 second. So for 25% of LeBron's career, for 75% of LeBron's career, he was not even an all-NBA level defender. For 75% of his NBA career, he wasn't even an all-NBA caliber defensive player. But you got these clowns and jigaboos out there that want to do a special that Nick Wright and all these guys put together of the year that Michael Jordan, or the year that LeBron got robbed of a defensive player of the year, or the year that Michael Jordan didn't deserve one. Meanwhile, Jordan made 9 all-first defensive teams and has a defensive player of the year. Kobe did it 12 times. 12 times. So in terms of impact, and that's not a counting number, although you can count the appearances, you can see who had a greater impact on the team. On the game itself. And by the way, just to close this out, I decided to look at it at a 15-year window. You know, since Mr. Kill is faster than Jordan, Kobe, and all of this. LeBron scored in 15 seasons 31,038 points. Jordan scored in 15 seasons 32,000 points. Which means that if Jordan played, what, 20 years? That means that Jordan would have what? Let's see. How many points would Jordan have? 32,000. Okay? Divided by 15 is what? 2,133 times 22. It means Jordan would have 46,900 points. Or let's do 2,000. Let me just get the number again, because y'all think that LeBron is something to be compared to Michael Jordan, and I'm saying it's not. Let's just do the math in front of you guys. 32,000 divided by 15 seasons times 21 years, since it's LeBron 22nd. So it means that Jordan, had he played as long as LeBron did, he will be sitting on 44,800 points. Now put that in your crack pipe and smoke it. End of discussion. Do not compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. There is no road to success with this argument. I just shut it down for like the 1,000th time. Let's stop the nonsense. These dudes are not on the same level. Folks, we got us a video here today. We got us a video here today. Look, I'm a real Kobe fan. I'm a real Kobe Bryant fan. Through and through. I'm a real one. I'm not one that you got to look at it like, is he really a Kobe? I don't know. Seems a little iffy. Kobe. No, I'm not one of those. I'm a real, like, that's my dude. Right? Because I think that he was a hell of a player. And he had a great impact on society, and he left a positive message, which was Mamba mentality, that a lot of people all over the world can relate to. You don't need to be a basketball player or an all-world athlete to be able to subscribe to the Mamba mentality, which essentially means be the best that you can every single day and maximize your God-given abilities. Anybody can partake in that endeavor, right? So to me, Kobe is the standard. Anyway. One person that likes to say he's a Kobe fan, but got some of us real Kobe fans looking at him with a side eye, is Gilbert Arenas. And Gilbert Arenas made a lot of headlines over the last 48 hours let's have 72 hours rather, over a segment that took place on Gil's Arena, which I'm sure all of you heard, where Gil said to the panel, hey, list all of these guys from 1 to 3, who's the best killer? Brandon Jennings threw out his order, MJ, Kobe, LeBron. Nick Young pretty much had the same, and then Gilbert Arenas started. And he started going back and forth and bringing up this, bringing up that, bringing up this, bringing up that. And I'm watching this and I'm saying to myself, I thought Gilbert Arenas is supposed to be a Kobe Bryant fan, because this just don't seem right. This just don't make no damn sense whatsoever. And I'm not doing this to say, I'm name dropping or nothing. No, he pertains to the subject matter, so I'm going to bring it up. We normally talk basketball, Gil and I. I text sometimes not Brandon Jennings, Rashard McCants. He seems like a cool dude. I don't know celebrities or nothing like that. Only like 3 or 4 people I know. I don't know people like that, right? And we just talk basketball, strictly basketball, right? Very professional stuff, nothing beyond that. And I'm always arguing with Gilbert Arenas. We're always fighting about this one, fighting about that one, fighting about this one. So when he said that, I told him, I said, Gil, man, why are you saying this about Kobe? You're supposed to be a Kobe guy. But every time I hear you talk about Kobe, it's always anti-Kobe. Every video is you making an argument against the guy. But nevertheless, he's your favorite player. It makes no sense. How can this guy be your favorite player and you spend all day saying why this guy and that guy and this guy is better than him? But it's always that LeBron is better than Kobe. And I always push back on it. So I messaged him about it. I'm like, yo, what is this? And we went through this back and forth. And then the thought came to me, because one of the points that Gil was trying to say was, Kobe Bryant is a sidekick. He's a sidekick. And then I thought to myself, I said, hold up. Kobe's a sidekick. But I remember when Gil did a 1 hour or 2 hour live reacting to a video of him scoring his career high of 60 points in LA against Kobe. And I'm like, if Kobe is this sidekick, why were you making such a big deal out of it? So this is where it gets interesting. I went to the channel about 2 hours ago, and you guys can definitely partake in this conversation, and I wrote, Gilbert Arenas' claim to fame is dropping 60 points on a sidekick. Laughing my ass off emojis. I thought he was a sidekick. So I thought we were just, you know what I'm saying, just talking about it, whatever. Then Gil jumps in to the comments and he drops a response and I'm like, yo, we got to go at it. So let me show you what Gil said in his response. Gil said, whose claim to fame is 60 on Kobe? That's my high, but that wasn't my best to brag about. So that's what Gil said. And then we kicked off the conversation. I said to him, I said, don't change it. You did a 1 hour live showing you score on Kobe. If it was against anyone else, it would have been just a career high. But because it was Kobe, the best player in the world, that's what made it a big deal. And the Shaq, this is the same Shaq that called Kobe the best player in 01. That's Shaq. Let's stop the hate. And what I did was I linked the video of Shaquille O'Neal saying that Kobe was the best player in the world. So what we want to do, maybe it's a 10-second soundbite. Want to play what Shaq had to say in 2001 about Kobe Bryant and his place in basketball. And then we're going to continue on. Take a listen to what Shaq had to say about Kobe here.
When and why did you come to the revelation that this is the greatest player on the planet, Kobe Bryant?
When I first came to LA, Jerry showed me a tape of this kid, and I knew he had potential. And a lot of people thought we had problems. We never really had problems at all.
So you heard what Shaq had to say. Now the question we got to ask ourselves is the following. If Kobe is a sidekick to Shaq, why would Shaq in 01 say that Kobe is the best player in the world? Let's work through the mathematics together. Let's do it. Let's do it. Because this seems to be totally diametrically opposed to the points that Gilbert Arenas was trying to make. Gil was saying he would play with Shaq. He played with Shaq. He played with Shaq. Well, this Shaq that you're bragging about, and Shaq is worth bragging about, said in 01 that Kobe Bryant is the best player in the world. How does that work? And think of all of the beef that Shaq and Kobe had, and he's still calling this dude on national TV the best player in the world. How do we deal with that one, Gilbert Arenas? How do we answer that one? Let me guess. Shaq didn't look at the stats. Shaq didn't look at the metrics. That's what Shaq said. What was Shaq averaging in 01? Shaq was averaging that regular season 28.7. It was either 01 or 02, 01, 02, or 2001. He averaged 28.7, 27.2 in the respective years, shooting 59 and 58% from the field, 55 and 51% from the field, while getting you 12 rebounds, 12.7 and 10.7 rebounds. Let's look at what Kobe was doing those years. Kobe averaged, when Shaq said that, by the way, Kobe averaged 28.5 in 2000, 2001, and he was averaging 25.2 in the second year. He shot 46 and 47% from the field, 85 and 83% from the free throw line, getting you 5.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists per game. Now some of y'all, well, those are regular season numbers, because you know Shaq must have carried him in the playoffs. For sure, open the door. For sure, Gregory 4. Whatever dumb he's saying. Let's look at Shaq's numbers in the playoffs that year. Shaq averaged in the 2000-2001 playoffs 30 points and 4.4 points, 55% shooting from the field. 15.4 rebounds. This is the dude y'all thought LeBron was going to win a Finals MVP over. That was the first year. The next year he averaged 28.5 on 53% shooting, 12.6 rebounds, 2.8 assists per game. Now, let's look at the Kobe that was getting carried. You know, the closer and all of that stuff. The guy that Shaq said is the best player in the world. I wonder what he was doing those years. Well, let's look at Kobe get carried. That year, Kobe averaged, let me clear my throat, 29.4 points per game. Hey, yo, hold up. Hold up. Those are sidekick numbers. Let's continue on. He averaged 29.4 on 47% shooting, 82 from the three, from the free throw line, 7 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game, and 1.6 steals. The next year, 26.6 on 43.4% shooting from the field, 76 from the free throw line, 5.8 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 1.4 steals. Those are sidekick numbers? Are those sidekick numbers? This is what I'm trying to figure out, Jack. This is what I'm trying to understand. And we went back and forth with it. We argued about it bitterly. Then he said, oh, look at where ESPN ranked. And I said, yo, hold up. Hold up a minute. Weren't you the dude that told me you don't respect the viewpoints of journalists? That they don't know the game the way you guys know the game. So why are you quoting them all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden you value the opinion of what people on ESPN say? What I'm noticing, and Gil ain't no bad person or nothing like that, every single thing that it pertains to LeBron, he will move the goalpost. We can say, well, arguing about apples. We'll start winning. If I start winning the argument about apples, let's argue about oranges. The minute we start winning, but what about tangerines? And then what about tomatoes? And then at the very end, he'd be like, but let's talk about grapes and apples. He will keep shifting the conversation. And the only question I have to ask is, if you are truly a Kobe fan, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Who sent you to do this? Who sent you to do all of this? Who sent you? This is what I'm trying to figure out. And now I'm defending Kobe against a Kobe fan. Make it make sense. So I implore Gil to do a live or a show or 5, 10, 20-minute, whatever show, and show me where I'm wrong in all of this. Show me what I don't understand. And then finally explain in the live why, if you're a Kobe guy, why are you so pro LeBron?